Hey, are you not confident in your KPIs and the metrics that you're measuring? Don't worry, you're not alone. Don't feel bad. But this episode was designed just for you.
This is the Franchise Pitfalls and Profit Show. Each week, we bring you the challenges and triumphs of being in the franchise development and consulting business. The things you need to make money faster. And now your host, one of the most successful franchise developers in North America, Don Shin.
Hey, welcome back to Franchise Pitfalls and Profits. We're the podcast that helps you as a franchisor, as well as franchisees, navigate the challenges of the franchise world and help you achieve lasting success. As we like to say around my company, we help make you a franchise building expert as well. So I'm your host, Don Shin, and today we're diving into a topic that can make or break a franchise system, and that is understanding, managing, and leveraging your key financial metrics, the ones that drive the success of a franchise. So if you're a founder of a franchisor or if you're an executive running a franchise or company, if you're not confident in your metrics, your KPIs, don't worry, you're really not alone. And I designed this episode specifically for you. So what we're going to give you today in this episode is we're going to explore the topic of metrics, why they matter. We're going to talk to you about how to evaluate your unit economics as well as your economics of your franchisor. We're going to talk about developing a dashboard, if you will, how to track key performance indicators. And by the end of today, if you take good notes, you're going to have an action plan. You're going to have specific steps to increase your profitability and really to strengthen your franchise system because of getting a better handle on your KPIs and on your metrics. So are you ready to go? Let's start with why metrics matter. I want to get on the same page with you about this. The big challenge that we see is that franchise founders in particular, they struggle to understand and manage the financial metrics. They're not even sure often what truly matters. And this often leads to decisions based on their gut, based on that old intuition rather than on data. And I'm not saying, again, I've said this before in other episodes, I'm not saying that your gut, your intuition is a bad thing and to totally discard it. But what I'm talking about is consistent results, consistency. And I think on a consistency basis, not knowing your metrics is going to hurt your profitability. It's going to hurt your recruitment. And overall, candidly, it's going to hurt your long-term growth. So what are some of the common pitfalls? Again, why we should be caring about metrics and what we should be looking to avoid. Well, one of them is just not knowing your numbers, not knowing, in particular, in this case, your AUVs, your average unit volume across your franchise system. Another thing is failing really to track your royalty streams, not only track them, but measuring them for their consistency, what you can see from and analyze from measuring them. Another one is to ignore operational costs. These are things that candidly are going to eat up your profitability. And I think it's important, to get you guys off the hook a little bit. If you're an emerging brand, or if you're still around, you're the founding member of a brand. I think it's important to understand that this is happening because you're so focused on building your concept. Candidly, in the early days, you're mostly focused on recruiting new franchisees. And what happens is these KPIs and in particular some of the pure financial systems in your business, the methods of tracking and analyzing and the habit of analyzing your data, it just falls by the wayside. And I understand that. So what's a franchisor to do? Well, you know, that old story about there's good news and there's bad news. Well, the good news is it's never too late to start tracking your numbers. It's never too late to look at metrics in your business. It's absolutely never too late to start to use them on a go forward basis to drive smarter decisions for your franchise concept and your brand. So let's start by what are unit economics. Unit economics definition is the financial performance of a single franchise location. And I think the key components, the bare minimum of what you should be doing here is looking at, as I said before, the AUV, average unit volume. What's the revenue for a single location? What are they generating? You want to look at royalty streams. What are they paying the franchisor? This is critical. What kind of money is coming into you as the franchisor on a regular basis? And you want to also fundamentally look at your cost structures. There's fixed and variable costs of operating a location. So where do you start? What are the steps in starting to evaluate your unit economics? One is to calculate AUV. Use data from all of the locations to find that average revenue per unit, and then break it down. You can break it down in a variety of different ways that relate to your business. Maybe it's by size of cities. Maybe it's urban versus suburban. Maybe it's regionally, northeast, southeast, west. But once you start to calculate it, you can slice it and dice it and develop the type of reports that you think you need. Another thing is to assess profit margins. You want to analyze how much revenue is left at the end of the day. After all of the costs are considered, including the royalties that they're paying you, what's their margins? What's their profitability? And then compare across the system. You want to look at high performing locations. You want to study what's making them different. What's making them so much better than the rest of the folks in the system. So, for example, I remember a franchise system that found or let me just give you a reference or an example. Maybe they did find that locations in the suburbs are doing better consistently than the ones in urban. And so why would that be important, or what could they do with that? A lot of people are probably just going to, shrug and, hey, that's kind of the way it is. But by analyzing it, they might find that due to lower rent costs, suburbans are going to be more profitable. Maybe it's got higher foot traffic in the suburbs because people are living there, and the traffic versus maybe cities closed down. So the urban locations aren't doing as well. So what do you do with that? Well, when you're armed with real information, when you're armed with real data, you go forward, you can make adjustments, particularly on where you put locations, new locations, maybe the size of the locations, maybe some of the advertisement changes a little bit for helping the urban location do as well as the suburban location. So that data will just help you going forward, select better locations, select better franchisees, and make some operational changes. So let's talk about another thing I mentioned is the fact that creating somewhat of a dashboard, if you will, for a simple description. So why does this matter? I think having a clear way to look at your data and look at all of your information, it's just going to make it easier for you to make decisions based on facts, make decisions based on data. I think it's going to help you track things. You're going to see bottlenecks easier. And I think overall, again, if you have some form of a dashboard type of a mindset or look, it's going to really impact your strategies and the adjustments that you might want to make going into the future as you see data coming in. So I think some key things you want to measure in this dashboard concept is going to be CAC, customer acquisition costs. What did you spend to actually get a new customer? Lifetime value, LTV, lifetime value. How much does a customer produce to you over the course of the time that they do business with you, with your brand? Again, profit margins. You want to have a clear indicator of the health, but also, high performing franchisees are also happier. So it's almost that profitability is a satisfaction indicator for your brand as well. And then conversion rates, lead conversion rates. What percentage of your leads are turning into franchise agreements? There's a whole lot of other statistics to track in there. But again, these are the very minimal metrics you would want to have from a dashboard mindset. So how would you go about developing this dashboard? I don't think it's got to be, at least to get started, it doesn't have to be anything that you've got to spend tens of thousands of dollars on developing. I think so you don't need something that's really fancy, not from the get-go. You want to start the habit of looking at the whole picture. So you can use Excel. I used Excel for a long time in my master franchise. You could use Google Sheets. Google Docs is another one. There's affordable CRM systems that will give you some of this information. So again, you want a simple dashboard where you can see what's going on in your business. The key is, if you do this, you must keep it updated. So update it regularly. And then the real key is, when you make the effort to put it all together, use it. Use it, not for something, I looked at all the stuff and then go off and do your thing. Use it to make adjustments. Use it to maybe alter some strategies or change course. So develop it, update it, use it. So want to talk about increasing profitability. How are we going to do that? Let's look at operationally adjustments. Once you have a handle on these metrics, you're now going to see bottlenecks. You're now going to see places where you can improve things. You're going to have a lot of opportunity to impact your profitability once you start to develop this dashboard and your KPIs, and you're regularly looking at your metrics. So let's talk about reducing costs in a franchise system. Are there some supply chain inefficiencies? Maybe there's some outdated processes that have driven up costs. Maybe a good old conversation with a current supplier saying, look, folks, we need to reduce our costs by 10%. I came out of the automotive industry many years ago, and this was a regular thing. They would come to us, maybe every 18 months and say, hey, our costs have to go down. What are you going to do to reduce our costs by 10% over the next 24 months? So maybe you could talk to current suppliers and say, look, we're forecasting an increase of new franchise partners by X amount of dollars, or based on the things you're doing now with your franchisees, the volume's going to go up. So can you give us some volume discounts? But you need to look at things that'll reduce costs. And then at the end of the day, maybe honestly, maybe a supplier, maybe you've outgrown a supplier. And while I believe in long-term relationships and partnering with our clients, sometimes it has to end for one reason or another. And from a cost standpoint, you want to be working with suppliers and vendors. They're going to help you keep the costs down, maintain them, or lower them. You might have to look at improving training when you think about identifying operational efficiencies. Stronger training programs can reduce turnover of your franchise partners. It's going to improve the performance of your franchisees. When I was a master franchisee, we used to have what we called quarterly meetings, and we would get together for this very reason. We would be working on how can we get better in our individual franchise areas, in our own businesses, and there was a camaraderie and an effort. There was just a quarterly meetings, but it was one day, and the franchise partners got so much value out of it, they always attended. So improving training, it could be a big part. And then lastly, just streamlining. Is there any automated things? Is there anything you can automate? Are there any tasks that can be automated? We talked about that in a prior a prior episode, talked about automating your franchise recruitment process, or parts of it at least anyway. So can you streamline operations to help adjust in your overall operations? I have a great partner client that we work with, and I have seen this problem in the industry, and they came to us with it as well and asked to see if we could help solve it. And this is the fact that they felt very strongly they were recruiting the right franchisees. However, those franchisees had some gaps. They were great ambassadors for the brand, very passionate about being in the business. But again, they had some gaps, some skill set gaps, almost missing in some cases kind of business 101. So we put together a supplemental training. We still do it today, call it the Franchise Foundation of Success. And so this is to help franchisees improve on their sales abilities, improve on their local marketing, improve on their leadership, understand and better utilize metrics, KPIs, and systems, and plan better. How to use planning to be more successful. So these are basic business principles, foundational type principles that we're teaching the franchisees. So sometimes, again, it's training. Now that company and we do it for every one of their brand new franchise partners that come on board. So training might be a great way to improve your profitability, improve your operations, and candidly just overall be more successful. So as I close, the key takeaways, again, if you're taking notes, hope you had your notebook out. If you're taking notes and you're building an action plan from today's episode, let me recap. Evaluate your unit economics, calculating your AUV, your royalty streams, profitability. Create a dashboard-esque KPI tracking, metric tracking system. Do it simple. Don't go out and spend tens of thousands of dollars right away, but do it simply. And you're measuring client acquisition cost. You're measuring long-term and lifetime value. You're measuring conversion rates in the business. And then use your dashboard data, the metrics, the KPIs, use it in ways that's going to reduce costs, make operational and systemic improvements. Overall, those things are going to increase the profitability of your business. Okay, now, before I close, I want to be sharing with you some things we're doing in 2025. It is my 25th year in business, believe it or not. And consequently, we are bringing new things to the marketplace this year. We've got experience. My team and I have 75 years of marketing, sales, franchise ownership, franchise development, multi-unit, master franchise, franchisors. We've done it all, and 75 years of proven success. And we want to share that in different ways. We want to hit these things like today's conversation. We want to hit these things head on. We want to help you hit them head on and get better results. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And we want to disrupt that a bit. So we are offering now today, we are introducing the Franchise Growth Vault program. This is going to help you build a high impact sales process and truly look at your overall system to maximize and optimize your successes. This is going to be an intense program. But if the challenges that we talked about today, if you resonate with these challenges, and if you want a proven methodology of increasing the growth of your franchise concept, if you want to improve your sales processes, increase overall your conversion rates and your signups, the Franchise Growth Vault was designed to do exactly that. We're going to eliminate sales inefficiencies. We're going to implement battle-tested techniques We're going to leverage our 75 years of experience to deliver to you, with you, proven franchise growth strategies. So again, it's the Franchise Growth Vault is the new program. So do me a favor, if you want more information about it, if you want a diagnostic session that's going to actually look at your specific business to find out where your challenges might be, we've identified 36 different areas. We've got 9 or 10 different segments of the vault, different areas of the vault, if you will, that we're going to be delivering to clients. And consequently, the only way we're going to know whether this is the right program for you, or whether and where your challenges, where the biggest challenges you have are, is by doing a diagnostic session. So go to this location, go to this Calendly link, take a snapshot of it right now, and so that you have it and you can go to it. But we want you to get this diagnostic at a bare minimum. There's no charge. We want you to have this diagnostic done on your franchise brand so that you know the places that you need, that you could be doing some things differently in. So remember, managing your metrics isn't just about numbers. It's about creating really a healthier, more sustainable, more profitable for everybody franchise system. And when you have a clear understanding of your financial performance, you're going to be empowered to make better, smarter, quicker decisions. And candidly, overall, you're just going to have a lot more success, and you're going to have a lot more fun at doing it. So again, if you found today's episode helpful, please subscribe, maybe leave a review, post it on social media, and appreciate your listening. And I will see you back here next week.